Welcome to the Avants podcast. I'm Dan.
And I'm
not Nick.
Not Nick. This is Chrissy.
Chrissy from Avants is here with us. Nick is out sick this week. He dialed into the last show, and he's sick. And I'm sure he's disappointed because this is the first episode he's never not been a part of. Since like 200 and almost, I think, 50 episodes or so. This is the only one he's never been on. So I feel really bad for him right now. But he needs to rest.
I'm sorry, but not sorry, because I'm excited to be here with you. Sorry,
here
Nick.
in spirit.
Yeah.
All right. This week, our guest is Michael Honn. Michael is with STEK or STEK. We'll talk about that as well. But we're going to start with our Carter Automotive Group tip of the week, which he was a great inspiration for. One of the questions I asked him before we started recording was, my dream is to just drive through the car wash and never worry about my car again. Can I do that if I have STEK installed or a paint protective coating? And for all of you who think, yes, you can, no, that is not true. Unfortunately, car washes, not touchless ones, but your standard drive-through car wash with brushes is one of the worst things you can do for your paint, period. Like, that's not really up for debate. It's just like light sandblasting your car and scratches. It's awful for it.
And it also removes your Avants stickers.
It does remove your Avants sticker.
We don't have any of those right now, so you need to take care of them.
Yeah, and it's really hard on even the protective films. Obviously, you're better off with a protective film on your car. And if you're one of those people who just gets rid of your car every couple of years, and a lot of people do, go for it. Who cares? It's a lease. Knock yourself out. I'm just going to throw it out there. That's my opinion. But that said, it is not good for your protective film. It will degrade it over time. And depending on your install, if you've done like a Metropolitan install where everything's wrapped and you can't see a single thing, it's probably going to last a lot longer. But a standard stencil cut install, it's going to start lifting it at the edges and blasting it off. And you're going to get that dirty edge you see around. No matter who does it, it's just the nature of, slapping bristles with sand in them at the edge of something. Technically a really, really good high adhesion sticker is still going to start shoving dirt right under there. So don't do that. But now even if you've paint protected your car fully, you still shouldn't drive it through a drive-through car wash. It's just a bad idea. And Avants partners and friends, you get a discount with our friends at Griot's Garage. So you can use that Avants code for 10% off with our friends at Griot's. And then you should wash your car yourself because it's kind of fun anyway. And you'll do a better job.
Yeah. And their products smell good.
Yeah, they smell really good. I'm going to throw this out there. So we got a listener mail, which made me laugh. Another Michael, actually, not this Michael, different Michael emailed me and said, hey, you've had some pretty great uses for Griot's Ceramic Pro. He was like, that was a great idea on the lawnmower. He did the same thing. I Ceramic Pro the underside of my lawnmower. Fantastic for getting wet grass around here and just keeping stuff from sticking to it. He said, also, if you have kids in the household or you just pee on the seat a lot, this is great for underside of the toilet seat and on the rim. He's like, because then nothing's like, you can get rid of that stain. And if you've had kids, you know what I'm talking about. Maybe you just live with somebody sloppy who doesn't know how to aim. I don't know. That's your own business. But this is a great use that I never thought of. He's like, no, seriously, tell everybody to do this. It's really great. The parents will thank you. I was like, okay, I'll put it out there. That's a funny tip. So there you go, parents.
That's
another reason to buy Griot's ceramic products.
Gosh.
Creative with them.
The creative one, right? Michael Honn, welcome to the show. Tell us
guys.
what you do with STEK.
Yeah.
And it is STEK.
It is, yeah. STEK stands for Shield Technologies, and I, by title, am the sales director, but I wear all sorts of hats and just kind of help facilitate the day-to-day business, customers as well, and just getting the whole team up and running. So it's been a really exciting upbringing, if you will. We've only been in the United States really for about 4.5, 5 years. So the growth that we've seen since then has, made us extra busy and then kind of filled my plate with a huge variety of different projects.
I was going to say, STEK is everywhere. It's, it's top of the line. If people are wondering, yes, it is. That's not just my opinion. I know a lot of the detailers in the area. I know a lot of the installers in the area. And yeah, it's kind of the universal opinion. Hey, it is the best stuff out there. Nobody paid me to say that, just for the record. I know it is from talking to people I trust that would tell me otherwise. They would tell me under the table, nah, it's the same as XPEL. It's the same as 3M. No, it's not. It's better in every way, and they abide by it. So, and we've had other people on the show have also said that. So
they say, it's the Dyno Shield
stuff.
Yep,
the Dyno Shield stuff.
Mm-hmm. Makes my job a lot easier.
Right?
The product does a lot of the work for us on the sales front, so that's awesome.
I was talking to a good friend of mine, Brandon Elin, who's been on the show a while back. I think you know Brandon. He's a tech at Audi. Great guy. He has this B5 S4, which is badass car. It's all black, and he's got it built, turbos, the whole nine, right? But he's got this clear bra on it that has been there since the day it was new. And it's one of those that, I'm like, no, man, this is like sandblasting to remove. This is not peel off at this point.
Yeah, some paint repair maybe required even.
Oh, no, it's plain and simple. I told him, I looked at it, I was like, no, dude, you're repainting your hood and your fenders, period. Like this, you pull this off, the paint damage is way beyond, even if you could make that look good, it'll be a different color than the rest of the car at this point. There's no amount of paint correction that's going to fix that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. That's unfortunately that is a horror story for a lot of old PPFs, and you'll see those cars, you'll see the pictures pop up on the internet, and so that's actually put a lot of fear into some customers' space, just knowing that I don't want my car to look yellow or have this cracked obvious film on it. But the technology has progressed so much further in the last 5-10 years. The engineers found that it was the UV rays. Let's put in
UV damage.
Exactly UV inhibitors, and so now the adhesive does not age nearly as quickly, and you get a lot better looking film for a lot longer time as well.
How long does let's start with, are there different levels of STEK?
We have basically two different levels.
Okay, there's Dyno Shield, and what's the other one?
And the other is called Pro Shield.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
How long does each one of those last?
So the Pro Shield is a 5-year warranty film, and the Dyno Shield is the 10-year warranty. And the Dyno Shield I would encompass with all of our Dyno series of products. So that would be these fashion films that we've kind of coined as well, which are these different patterns and colors.
Alligator skin.
And you name it, we can maybe
Leopard.
do it. Write this down. I'll get back to Chrissy.
Chrissy would like leopard print Dyno Shield.
Yes.
You'd be surprised. There's some over-the-top kind of jobs and installs that get done out there. So we're really looking at the industry to kind of pick out what are people looking for, what can we make, and really just cater that demand. And we want to exist without the car enthusiasts. So we want to
Awesome.
cater to those, and most of us come from a car enthusiast background, so it makes it really easy.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if our listeners probably can't hear that beautiful sound that just wrote in. We are recording this evening at Haggerty Garage and Social in Redmond, formerly Drivers Club, where we used to record all the time. We were going to go record at STEK in Woodinville, but there was an AC issue. And when it's 96 degrees out, we said, no, let's call up Casey and let's see if we can get over to Haggerty Garage and Social. They were gracious enough to lend us their clubhouse for the evening to record in. Yes, thank you very much, Casey. Thank you to our friends at Haggerty Garage and Social. And the beautiful backdrop that we have missed. It's like exotics at Redmond every time we're here. It's actually somewhat better in some ways.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Anyway, so thank you again to them. So this week, we're not going to just talk about STEK, I promise. There's a lot. You are a massive enthusiast, rallies, motorcycles, everything we love, you are a part of. So this is not just a sales job. I think that's been a big benefit of this show is we don't bring on people that are just like, I needed a job and I walked in and I learned about cars and now I'm here. Like, that's not the theme of the show. That is not about you at all. So I do want to talk about you and how you got started in the automotive industry and like your background, because I know you're big into rally, motorcycles, everything.
Yeah.
You're
Awesome.
driving a Raptor.
Where to dive in, right?
Yeah.
It's the best daily driver ever.
That's
Just
right.
Put my vote in. But
me too.
Awesome. Really, I think automotive was something, like most of it, just kind of born with. Just a natural tendency to want to get behind the wheel. And, for some people, it's wrenching. Some people, it can be detailing, making it, as showroom ready as possible. For me, it's always been driving the vehicle. And so that's kind of really where my passion is just in that driver's seat. And listen to some other shows that you guys have hosted. I'm not one of those car guys that knows all the facts about the different models and makes. I put that energy really just into being present in that seat and trying to, be an aggressive driver, if you will, competitively. So
it's funny. I've noticed that there's a distinct trend in no less of an enthusiast. I've talked to professional drivers who were like, I don't know. I just, I was talking to Lynn St. James actually, and she was like, I love my Miata. I drive that around all the time. Yeah. And she's not a spec queen. She's not one of those people. I mean, she knows how to drive. Obviously, it's Lynn St. James, but she's like, I don't know. I like cars I can drive. Like she could look out of that showroom and be like, that one looks lightweight, good brakes, good to go. Let's go. Yeah. And that's it. And I totally understand that. So. Very cool.
So that's, I guess put me into a space where once I was going to college, I was like, all right, I'm really enjoying cars. Now I'm working, so I can afford my own cars and projects. I'm getting more and more involved in the industry. And so I was like, hey, I want to do what I like, and let me see if there's any job opportunities around cars, because I like cars. And that's where I actually came across Metropolitan Detail. It was a really great opportunity just for a summer between semesters in college there. And I was essentially in their wash bay day in and day out. I would just wear a black polo, and I was in the sun enough that I had bleached shoulders by the time that summer was over on all my shirts. They had to go in the trash. Not going to be good anymore. But really that gave me appreciation for this kind of attention to detail that these high-end shops have, and to see, GT3 RSs up close and be able to actually put your hand over every single part of that body gets you a lot more intimate relationship with the vehicles than I was used to before as well. And then just from kind of a young man's standpoint, I was always interested in business and kind of being entrepreneurial myself. And I saw that John and Benjamin, the owners of Metropolitan Detail, had really put in the work that they needed to create this this amazing, world-renowned shop. And I felt that it was time that they got to give back a little bit to their families, have a little more time at home with their kids, and that hard work should pay off for them. So I wrote up a little consulting report. Here's how I've washed every car in your wash bay, and I recommend you train the next person to do the same. And I recommend you also use the structure to build out the other departments of
refine the assembly
business.
line.
Exactly. Refine the line. And it was actually over a great sushi lunch that John and Benjamin took me out to on my last day, and I presented this to them, and they're like, what, that's really cool, something maybe a little bit special. So I had one more semester left in college. They were like, come talk to us when you're done. And that pretty much was the first foot in the door for STEK, if you will. I didn't know anything about STEK. That company or brand had never been mentioned to me, and they were just in those early conversations. So within the time I wrapped up college, I was having a handful of interviews from companies like Comcast and other big corporations that seemed daunting and extremely boring. I was like, wow, here's this startup opportunity. I talked with John and Benjamin, and they had just got distributorship of STEK for the USA. So that was really kind of a no-brainer. I was like, stop the interviews there and commit to that. So I graduated in December 14th, I think, and I started January 2nd at STEK. And so cool. That was about 4.5 years ago now, and it's been nothing
but blew up.
Growth since. Exactly.
Got in at the right product at the right time with the right people. That is for sure.
Yeah.
Very cool. Let's talk a little bit about AvantsFest coming up, because you are a partner. You're a premier sponsor of AvantsFest. Chrissy, you want to tell us about AvantsFest and our members? This is what you guys are missing out if you're not an Avants member.
Yes. AvantsFest is the largest event of the year. It's happening on August 6th, Saturday, at Pacific Raceways. And yes, STEK has come in as our title sponsor, which is really, really fun that they'll get to showcase there everything that they do. I'm kind of just describing it to people like SEMA style, right? Because they're going to be doing demos, and it will be another opportunity for our other partners to come and join and do a little partner showcase. We've got some cool race cars coming that will be on display, and I know the ones that are coming, but if I tell you who they are, then I might have to kill you, because I might jinx it. But so I'm not going to tell you what they are, but I promise some new things that people maybe haven't seen before or that haven't been at other events. And then we'll have, there's some lead follow happening in the morning, so all the track experiences that are happening. So lead follow, then during the lunch hour from noon to 1, we'll have charity rides with our Pro 3 team. Thank you to them. And then that's when a couple of these cool race cars will go out onto the track. Then later in the afternoon, we'll have all the high-speed lappers out there. While all that's happening, then STEK's still going to be doing their demonstrations, food trucks, music. We'll have a kids' activity STEM activity area, lots of fun stuff. So it's very exciting.
That's awesome.
And we've never had a big sponsor like this for this event, and so it makes it extra special, for sure.
Very cool. If people haven't been following you were down for the LA event as well, which the California launch of the Peterson Museum, that was off the chart.
It was.
I was not there. I'm looking at the photos.
Intense.
Very jealous. You guys, quite a few people show up. Quite a few notable people show up.
Yes. Yes.
I knew it was going to be big, but great job to the team and to Jacob down there. Holy crap.
They worked so hard, and they had some really cool cars that really drive everything. I mean, it was all over the board. And Magnus Walker was there, and Matt Farah was there. All of our friends, Felix Holst, and everyone was just having a great time. I was under the tent talking to people all night long. But that was super fun, and members kept bringing me, vodka lemonade, so that was great.
Win.
Yeah. It's like, yep, and I'm right by the DJ, so it was a good night.
Makes for a good night,
yeah.
Definitely.
All right, well,
I did not, though, get to see the Peterson Museum, so
you
funny enough.
You were just in the lot the
I
whole
was
time.
so busy. I was on lockdown, yeah. So thanks for that, Adam.
It's important to have someone you can trust and hold the floor down.
Yeah, exactly.
I got to use the restroom, so I saw, little glimpse. Meanwhile,
like, nice
security's looking at me like she doesn't have a wristband on, and I'm like,
it's my event.
Yeah.
You got a nice wristband out of it.
I did.
That's from Crash Jewelry.
Yeah, Crash Jewelry made me this special cuff with the Avants logo on it.
We'll talk about them in a future episode. So that was just a little teaser for later. But anyway, the point being I was trying to make with that is that the Avants events have been blowing up.
They are so fun.
They're not to miss for the whole family. Even if you don't like cars, you're going to have something to do.
Yes.
So.
And Group 6 is going to be there, live screen printing T-shirts. And a little birdie tells me that we'll be printing some kind of fun throwbacks. So there might be some exciting shirts coming back to life.
I need another Trans Am shirt. Actually, I need like 5 of them, to be honest. That's the one I wear the most.
That would be a good one, too.
That's my favorite one. So, just saying.
Oh,
80s retro's coming back.
Yeah.
We were talking about that in our last episode, how like anything that you thought was cool when you were a kid once you hit 40, it goes back into fashion because now you can afford it. That's like typically that's where you start making that comfortable money, and or so they say is the. I'm telling anybody if they don't, I'm blaming. I'm just saying like that's how the money trend flows with cars. Yeah. So like we were talking about how like 90s JDM is like, man, if I get my hands, I still, even though I know it's a terrible car, the twin turbo 300ZX, that's still on my list. I've always wanted one of those. I had an RX-7, which was a terrible car, and FD that is, and then everybody's lusting over the Supra, but I'm like, no, I've always wanted the 300Z.
Yeah.
In all of its problems, I still want it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, Brian Nash will have his newly redone 300Z. The Z Lady will be there.
Sweet.
So, yeah.
Fair Lady Z for those.
And then I have one question for everyone, and that is, should I rent a dunk tank and put Adam in it?
Yes.
Oh, is that even a question?
He's probably going to kill me.
I can't wait for him to listen to this.
But wouldn't that be so great?
Yes,
and then we
would.
can just donate all the money to charity. Like,
absolutely.
dollar bills everywhere. Like, Adam's going to be dunked all day.
Fill it full of something sticky.
Yeah.
Not just like Kool-Aid or something. So when he gets out of it, all the bees just come to him. I don't know. Just make it fun.
Some color dyes in there or something.
Just kidding. Adam's like, why do you hate me?
And then he comes out, we'll wrap him in film.
Yeah, throw honey at him.
Protection film.
Show him how hydrophobic it is.
You're so high quality. Like, we've got to protect you.
Ceramic Pro Adam. Wrap him in film. Film and ceramic. There you go. That's the thing.
It is.
But yeah, it's going to be a fun day.
All right. Well, that'll be very cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Michael, tell us more about you. You're driving the Raptor right now. What other cars have you had, and what are you into? And like,
definitely.
What's the worst one to wrap? Actually, I'm gonna start with that. What's the worst car to wrap?
Geez, probably the G wagons. Honestly, from what I've heard. So I'm not an installer myself, and that's the other kind of funny thing. I've had very limited, hands-on time with film, but just through
you get the feedback,
absorption. Exactly. Yeah. I have a pretty good understanding. But G wagons, they're super boxy, so they're really challenging. And if you're working with a good installer, they're actually probably going to charge you a higher price than a standard car because they're going to need that extra time to do it right and all that. So I'll probably be most challenging. But the previous cars for me, what I had before the Raptor to daily was a 350Z. That was really cool. It was a Grand Touring Nismo model. So that was great. I was too tall for it, though. Unfortunately, the seat needed to go back like probably another inch to really be comfortable in it. But it was a cool little sports car to daily. I got the Raptor, though, because as I got into my racing more and more, I needed something I could tow with. And I have the first-gen Raptor where it has a 6.2-liter V8.
Proper V8.
And that, exactly, it's the proper motor where it has the torque that you need to get the race car around. And so the race car I have at home is a 2000 Super Impreza, just a two-door GC8. So, kind of a classic JDM car.
Yeah. So cool.
And really cool story for that. It has a special part in my heart for sure, just because it was my daily driver for a long time in college. And I was working at a restaurant there doing deliveries in it, for a good year and a half in the snow, sun, you name it, was driving that thing everywhere. So to be able to take that from, just a road car to a full stage car was a pretty exciting transformation process too. It took a couple of years, some Excel sheets of just checklists of things we got to do for safety and builds and everything else. But kind of fueling my passion for that is just getting out, watching these big guys like Travis Pastrana and Ken Block sliding their cars at 100 miles per hour on dirt, and it just looked like too much fun. So we went to school at Wazoo, and so over in Pullman and Eastern Washington, there's a lot more gravel roads and farm roads, so we got that experience over there. My idea of fun is known for a party school, but my idea of fun was go after class. And
I know what they were doing after school.
Most people were, right? But I found it as a good opportunity just to focus on school and then go out and drive. And so I did that a lot. I just texted a buddy like, hey, do you want to go take some videos of me cruising around today? And so that's really what I looked forward to. And we had, real winters over there where you had snow on the ground for months at a time, and so I just got silly comfortable drifting that thing everywhere, and getting all my seat time and experience through going to college. So
what variation of rally are you doing? Or just for fun?
Stage rallies.
You're doing stage
yeah,
rallies.
I'm competing in the America Rally Association's series. So far, I've only been able to do the regional events, if you will. So Oregon Trail Rally and the Olympus Rally, which is
still
here
awesome.
in Washington.
Yeah.
So fun.
Yeah, was totally awesome. So kind of a dream come true. Really, that feeling after completing the first one, which was just less than a year ago, is probably the coolest sensation I've ever had. Just like the biggest sense of accomplishment and like, holy cow, just euphoria. We got through, we didn't crash. And
that is an accomplishment.
Yeah, that is.
In dirt racing, it's crazy because the variables are just out of your control a lot of the time. And so that can get you caught up really quick when you're racing as fast as you can, right? And so there's a really high attrition rate in rally. And I think even more so than you might see in road racing where you have a little bit more controlled variables. I think half the field dropped out in that first race. So even just getting through it, it was a rainy weekend and, mud was everywhere and all that. That alone was a huge accomplishment. So
do you race with the team?
Somewhat. So I've kind of put a team together myself, if you will. So it's not anything super formal, but I have a co-driver. And if any of the listeners aren't familiar with stage rally, it's a really cool art almost where you have someone in the passenger seat. You guys go out on the course the day before and you drive it at like 30 miles per hour and you make the notes for it. And in doing so, you're giving yourself the best idea of the road ahead possible. So everyone's notes can be a little bit different. And that relationship between your driver, co-driver, obviously is really important because there's a lot of trust there. So I started getting more seat time in just amateur rallycross, which is like Dirtfish, the Northwest Rally Association hosts some really great events through that. And that's how I connect with the co-driver and kind of just, hey, man, can you trust me to go as fast as I can through the woods? So he jumped on and has been with me since and is really consistent. He's amazing at planning the logistics side of it, which is actually a lot more involved than you would think and whatnot.
Yep.
And then I have a couple good mechanic buddies that I will pay to come out for the weekend and crew for me. So
that's really cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, our episode 199 relative, we had Rhiannon Gelsomino on the show, which is Travis Pastrana's co-driver. She is amazing, and watching her work, we've talked and she showed me what they do, and I'm way out of my league. They have a co-driver school actually down in her and her husband Alex is Ken Block's co-driver.
Yeah.
And so if you want to learn to be a co-driver, which is a lot of work, but you love logistics and planning and you're great with numbers, that's what you want to do. And it is every bit as exciting from the passenger seat, probably a little more so because you're not in control. That's a lot of trust.
Yeah.
So very cool. Shout out to what's your co-driver's name?
He goes by Rusty, but his name's Brian.
Brian. Okay. Brian, aka Rusty.
He's one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have a tough job.
So we appreciate him, trusting us and vice versa.
He's over there. Thanks for not killing me.
Yeah.
Get through it. But no, so, that honestly takes a lot of time and energy outside of like work. If I'm coming home and I have a free weekend, what am I doing? I'm probably working on my race car and cleaning it up one way or another. So that's been really cool. But really, I think the spot in the industry that I enjoy being is helping people find success. So whether that's, other race buddies that I have, like here's how to get into stage rally, or, even at the STEK level, helping shops grow and see that change. There's great people in this industry. And I think that's something that has kind of been a profound realization of mine, time in and time out. And in my work experience too with STEK, so many of these shop owners are, burning the midnight oil, really just pushing the envelope to do as much as they can to grow their brand. And so it's been really rewarding to come in and kind of give them that same level of dedication from a distributor side, from just a personal relationship side as well, and see that change. And we've actually had customers tell us, like, you guys bought this car for me, right? Or they just got their dream shop and they're like, oh, STEK did this for me. It's like, no, you guys did the hard work, but we gave you the tools maybe to get there. So whether it's rally or PPF detailing in general, I always work to kind of be a positive force whenever I am. There's always, stress and troubles that can come up and go down. But I think the detailing industry, the automotive industry in general, we're really resilient. And that's something that it keeps coming back to time in and time out.
Yeah.
I love cleaning my own car. I love working on my own car. But probably once every 3 or 4 months, I just take it and have somebody wash it and clean it. It's so nice to have somebody else do it.
It is. It's so nice.
Even when I have time, I'm just like, I just don't want to do it right now. I just want somebody else to go through it top to bottom and miss and get everything I'm going to miss because I just don't have that. I don't have the assembly line down.
Yeah, there's so much more involved than you would think in doing a detail the right way or cleaning your car the right way, from the products that you use to the tools that you use to apply those products. But, all those crooks and crannies that there's a lot of tools and tricks to get in there.
Especially with a truck that actually gets off-road time, or a rally car especially. But I'm still cleaning Moab dust out of my truck a year later. It makes me laugh. But
exactly. You take it to the mechanic, they can always tell where you've been because you
Yep.
can't get everywhere.
I get props from my dealer. I take my truck in. I have the dealer do the oil changes because it doesn't really cost anything extra, honestly.
Yeah.
By the time it's done, I'm paying for like $20. Yeah, it looks good on the Carfax. I'm like, no, I'll just do that and sit there and work while they do it. And they always give me credit. So you're like one of the few Raptors in here that's actually really dirty underneath. It looks really clean on the outside, but you have mud everywhere underneath your truck. I'm like,
Until you actually drive it.
Yeah. I'm like, thanks, Dirtfish Off-Road.
Yeah.
Avants Off-Road. I'm still pulling out off-road dirt from there and from Moab. So
That's awesome. Isn't AvantsFest doing an off-road?
So we'll have our off-road team there, and they may be doing some demonstration, but it's just going to depend on availability of some folks. So
right.
yeah,
Just tough right now.
it's tough. Everybody's on vacation and
Which is why I won't be there. Yeah.
Dan. But yeah. So, but yeah, our off-road team is growing. You guys will get to hear about that a little bit, because Brenneman Powell is so busy too. So we've got help for him, and volunteers always step up, and so we'll be able to get some events back on the calendar here soon too for them. But yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I haven't done any like real personal events this year at all. I haven't been on any road trips. I haven't been on any drives. I've just been too busy. It's been like since that shift back from COVID has been like triple the workload. But anybody that at least anybody I work with expected. We're just like we went from what are we doing? I don't really have anything to do today to we are buried forever.
Yeah.
So anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I was going to say, I think that's a common trend. A lot of us are feeling that too. And obviously we see it in the restaurants and just anywhere you go, shortened service and staff. But yeah, it's an uphill battle a little bit.
Good for business, bad for personal time.
Yeah.
But,
Aren't you into motorcycles and stuff too?
Just going to ask that.
Yeah, I am a little bit into motorcycles. Really, dirt biking is all like the dirt racing for me. I like the loose surface stuff, so that's my that's my bread and butter. I tried the street bikes, and I actually ended up in the hospital after not having one for too long. And so I was like, no more road bikes, and we'll
just par for the course.
It is, right? It's just a matter of time, I think, is what I was told. But that was no fun at all, of course. So I was sticking to the dirt bikes. In college, I had a CRF 250, which was really fun. And I had to sold that by the end of college to pay for the last semester of college, and I haven't got back into the dirt bike game yet. But I that is one of like the basic toys that I need: rally car, dirt bike, and I'm a pretty happy person.
Maybe you should get like one of these little monkeys.
Honda Monkey. Same. Or a Grom. Either way. Small bikes are the great way to get back into the game. We took ours. We did the whole Wabder, not the whole thing. We did 2 sections of the Wabder on the monkeys. We would have done the whole thing, but the forest fire stopped us. That was the only reason. And I'm telling you, you will laugh, and then you will just be like, I have to have this. This is the best investment I ever made.
Yeah.
You stayed fairly comfortable even on the
rides? It was easy. Because it's so soft. And when we upgraded our suspension. That was like a must. You can't do a bike that small off-road without upgrading your suspension. But other than that, I mean, we probably would have smoked a clutch if we stuck the stock one in there, but they're like $20, so who cares? Yeah. But I'm telling you, man, everybody who's done it has been like, yeah, this was the best idea ever. This is so fun. But Nick, who's obviously not here, he's sick, but he has a CRF 450 RL, and he's been getting into the dirt bike scene a lot, and it's on my list. Hopefully soon, we'll see. I've been burying myself in house projects, and that takes up all my money and time. Yeah. But I wanted to ask a little more about STEK. What are the different, and not just STEK, but PPF in general, what are the differences between STEK, XPEL, 3M? And I'm not asking you to trash anybody else's brand, but I know there's big differences. Yeah. And I don't know what they are. I just know they look different. The clarity is different. The hardness is different. And I don't know why, and I don't know anything about it. Yeah. No, excellent questions. I think there is a lot to it, and I'm happy to kind of break that down. I also feel like every company in this industry has brought something to the table. So there's not really anything to speak badly about anyone, just because we're all contributing to the growth of the industry as a whole. But going back to kind of our earlier conversation, the job's easy because I believe in the product. And as a car guy, I didn't have to be employed by STEK to see the value in the STEK film or just PPF in general. And so really the key differences in the manufacturers is primarily the adhesive and the top coat applications. A little
industry inside scoop for you. The raw material itself is from a limited number of suppliers, and so there's not too much variation that you're going to see there. And what STEK in particular has done fundamentally different than most other manufacturers is in the way that we apply our top coat. Traditionally, this TPU is a base plastic for paint protection film.
Right.
That stands for thermoplastic polyurethane. It's really durable and elastic material, but it's a porous material. So like stone or wood, it's going to absorb moisture and it will let moisture evaporate out as well. And most top coats are laminated on, where they have a little bit of layer of adhesive, and there's another essentially TPU coat that provides these top coat properties, the self-healing and anti-yellowing layers and such. What the STEK engineers are doing differently is we pour our top coat on as a liquid. And so instead of a laminate, there's one less layer of adhesive. And that really benefits in a couple different ways. For the installer, it does actually stretch a little bit easier. So if you have a, like McLaren with these crazy hard angles and curves, it's going to be a little bit easier to get into those compound angles. For the customers, though, they benefit with the clarity. Honestly, just the gloss side by side, almost any other
I was
films
going to
I've
say
seen
the clarity
is phenomenal.
is even from my untrained eye, I can tell the difference. Yeah. When I look at it, I've seen cars side by side, and John has showed me this, and he just asked me straight out. Kind of does the blind test of like pick your favorite wine, and either like one or the other. This was obviously clear. It wasn't even like I'm like, well, yeah, that one clearly same car, same color. Yeah. This one looks clearer than that one, and is it older? No, they're the same car, and you can tell right away.
Yeah.
So
exactly, and so that is really the leading reason I think that we've gained as much traction as we can. If you spend hours correcting the paint to make this car as perfect as you can, you install a film that then shows a little bit more texture that maybe wasn't on the paint surface, it's not really representing the work.
It looks like orange peel.
Exactly. It looks like orange peel, like maybe you didn't finish the correction. So that's definitely one reason. The other cool benefit is we have a ceramic component as part of that liquid top coat. So all of our dyno films are very hydrophobic, and that doesn't just wash off the first time you go through the bay or in a couple months. It personally, in my experience, for over 4 years here in Seattle, it's still beating water as long as you maintain it, just like a ceramic coating. So that's the other benefit to it. It's kind of two birds, one stone there. But you always get extra durability if you want to coat over PPF. That's probably a common question that might come up. Totally safe to do so. Yeah. It will just provide an extra layer of protection. But so that's really the key difference. Most other manufacturers are doing the laminated top coat, and that kind of understanding of the manufacturing process is where we've started pushing the envelope with the colored and the fashion paint protection films as well. But other companies like Expel, for instance, they have a phenomenal software, and that's what a lot of installers rely on, so they don't have to cut on the vehicle and risk cutting into the paint, of course. Companies like 3M, they have a huge name, and so that's brought a lot of attention into the industry and a lot of kind of trust or comfort for some installers, and knowing that they offer a big company brand. And so really it's important to the end user, if you will, to do your research and make sure that regardless of the installer that you choose, that you're happy with the film. There's going to be a different film that's right for different people. And that kind of goes back to the 10-year Dyno Shield that we have versus the 5-year Pro Shield. That 5-year Pro is going to save you a couple $100 off the top. So if it's a lease, you don't plan to keep it for a long time, or adversely you just don't have the budget for it, that's one way to get some paint protection film. And just 5 years later, you have to remove that a little bit sooner. So the difference though is in that Pro series, we don't have the liquid top coat. That's the traditional laminated top coat. So as a whole, it's a little bit less durable. It's not as hydrophobic or long-lasting hydrophobics there.
Yeah, I think a lot of people need to be honest with themselves when they buy a car, though, because being honest with myself, I don't keep a car 5 years. I don't know if I've ever kept a car 5 years. I would if I had like maybe a classic or something, maybe, but I don't. And I just, as much as I love my cars, I'm like, all my cars are for sale. I don't care how much I love it. All my cars are for sale. Because if the next one comes along and I want that one more, it's for sale. You pay me enough, it's for sale. I'm one of those guys. Exactly. I'm not a purist. I don't have a collector car in my, or a family car in my, in my
There's too many experiences to get, right? So many different cars and driving experiences to try out. You got to try it all.
Exactly.
Yep.
It's a common trend. I think before I was like 18, I'd already had like 10 cars or something like that, just selling and trading or whatever else. So, but and the other really important thing to stress with PPF, and this is more so than the film that you choose, is the installer. And
I wanted you to talk about the installers.
That is huge. So the level of expertise out there is pretty vast, and it's a truly challenging task. Installing paint protection film really is almost an art form, and the people that put that kind of attention to detail and passion behind it get the best results. And in my experience, you're always going to get what you pay. So if you're going for a shop and they're like, oh, $700 less in the shop down the street, well, you're probably getting about $700 less of value out of that work as well. So do your research. And one of the most convincing things, I think, is actually going in to see the shop. You can see some of the work that they're doing, talk to them, get a feel for what kind of people they are. And if you connect with them, and then you know that you can be confident and comfortable leaving your prized possession there to get protected. So.
Yep, people shop around all the time. We have plenty of Avants partners. So you go to our partners page, we have tons of Avants partners that install STEK.
Yep,
but one of the biggest things, like people, I'll use Metropolitan as a perfect example because people talk about, I'm in the internal group at work for the driver's DL, and they talk about PPF all the time. People are always like, where should I go for PPF? And the first question is, what kind of car do you have? Because you never know in my company, like, are you driving a Ferrari in for PPF or your daily driver Corolla? And some people have both, literally. And they're like, for your Corolla, whatever, go to whoever you want that's cheap because you don't care. For your Ferrari, you go to Metropolitan. Yeah. And they're like, well, they're way higher than everybody else. I'm like, yeah, but you won't see the seams. They're going to wrap it. They're going to take apart that car, and you're not even going to know you had PPF installed. Like, there's a huge difference there, and you're going to pay for it because the labor is there to match.
Yeah.
So,
exactly.
I'm not just a fan of, I like John and I like their work they do, but I've seen it firsthand so many times from the same car to the same car with different installers. And I'm like, what's that? Bad Clear Bras on Instagram. Yeah. One of my favorite pages. Who runs that? It's local, isn't it?
I think it is local, but I couldn't say it. I think
it's, and I don't know who it is. I know it's local. Nobody's like owning up to it, but I swear to God, it's somebody around here. Because it is, if you want to see like bad cuts on really expensive cars, and people are like, don't have your buddy install PPF. If he's like, I can figure it out, don't go to him. Have him figure it out on some car and some hoodie pulled out of the junkyard for like 2 years, and then have him install it on your new car.
Be careful of the kits you find on eBay too. Those, it might make you feel like a pro, but the end result probably won't be very professional.
I've seen the shrink back, the inch back from the bumper.
And then the unfortunate part is like if you get a partial bra or if you don't wrap that edge, you're going to get the chip just above where the foam stops. And it's just Murphy's Law every time.
I remember, it was Porsche headlights. Early PPF on Porsche headlights would shrink back, and it would actually crack the coating on the lights. And it was, I don't know if they still do that, but Porsche had to put out like a service bulletin about it. Like people would stone guard their headlights, and it would ruin the headlights. And at like $2,500 plus a side, that's an expensive PPF problem.
It is. And a lot of the Porsche headlight, there's kind of an open debate still even about it because they have some lamination issues. And people were like, well, is it safe to put film on it? And it's like, well, if it's a long-term film, you're sealing that laminate, and so theoretically it's going to hold up. But then the risk is when you pull it off, you're going to damage the lens underneath. So it's a trade-off.
Tell us about a couple of the demos that we're doing at AvantsFest.
I think the demo I'm most excited for, and we're still getting our ducks in a row here, but hoping that we'll have some Dyno Shield on some of these race cars. We're just going to put little pieces kind of behind the wheels and the high impact areas, and everyone's going to see how easy it is to take off the tar. And if you're tracking your car a lot, I know, a lot of the driver club members and Avants go out for all these track weekends. It literally makes it a 5-minute process, a 10-minute process, depending on how hard you drive, opposed to having it cool down on a paint surface where you're kind of putting smell boat grease and maybe need some correction afterwards. This film really that was almost the most memorable thing from my work in the detailing side is PPF makes removing tar so much easier. So I'm excited to show people that just because the enthusiasts that drive the cars are the ones that I connect with as well. The other demos, we're going to have, honestly, just a great variety of cars and different vehicles. So we have a handful of different shops from the north, east side, west side, and down south coming in and bringing some awesome vehicles with different films on them. And so if you're thinking about, do I want gloss film, or maybe I want matte on my car, or look at some of these fashion films in person, that's going to be a really good place to come out. And on an off-road note a little bit, we have a TRX that will be coming that has a full body in our Dyno Camo PPF, which is just completely over the top,
so cool.
but it's totally cool.
Well, and TRX is over the top. If you're going to have a TRX, don't be subtle.
Exactly. Exactly.
There's nothing subtle about a 700 plus horsepower TRX.
God. So cool.
Supercharged beast.
Yeah, I know. I can't wait for the Raptor R, which I'm not getting. It's too expensive. But maybe one day when things go back to MSRP, probably not with that, but we'll see. You never know.
Yeah.
There's a recession coming. Maybe. Crossing my fingers for a Raptor.
But how about you, Chris? What are you looking forward to most out of Vonsfest?
Just everything. I love seeing everyone come in and smiling, and they're happy to be there. And
Bring Chrissy drinks.
having a good time. Well, Adam would probably say, no, don't do that. It's always caught on camera.
That's right. No, don't do that. You shouldn't do that.
Yeah,
Definitely don't.
I'll take care of me. Yeah, and just looking forward to partnering with you. And so far, it's been great, and just excited about it all.
Yeah.
When I started with Avants last year, AvantsFest was my first event. So it's
Awesome.
you
It's
know,
kind of the
year
inaugural.
two,
if you will. Yeah.
putting
Awesome.
it down.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's great. I got signed up with Avants membership through John and through STEK,
Yeah.
but I haven't had a chance to go out to any events yet. So that's the other thing I'm looking forward to is actually
Yeah.
seeing all the members. I'm sure there'll be
Yes.
some familiar faces from even the rally scene and stuff like that. And so that is really something I'm looking forward to is just talking to people and seeing who all is involved.
Yeah.
Since I've been doing this with Avants, I run into people from Avants everywhere all the time now. And it's good. I have the Avants stickers on the side of the truck. People always joke.
Oh, yeah, you've got the big one.
Yeah, I got the big
on
ones.
side.
Everybody says +5 for the Avants one. I've got +10 because mine's bigger.
Yeah.
But I was last night. I was even just driving home. Somebody was like, "Hey," and I was like, "Oh yeah, the Avants stickers." They had Avants plate on. I don't know who it was. It was dark. I just drove by and I saw a hand out the window. I'm like, "Hi."
It happens all the time.
Yeah. So you go to these events, you'd be shocked at how many people you run into. It's
Yeah,
fun.
yeah.
That's the best part.
On my way to LA, I was getting in one of the, shuttles to my gate. And I'm just kind of minding my own business. I was, tired, and I probably had an Avants shirt on. That's probably what gave it away. But all of a sudden I hear this, "Hi, Chrissy," and I look up, I'm like, "Oh, hi."
No idea who you are.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I didn't. I'm like, "Oh, yep, I'm headed to LA. Yep, see you later."
Yeah, do they know you from LeMay? Do they know you from Avants?
Yes.
From karting? Who knows?
Yeah.
Wake surfing?
It's fun. It's fun. Yeah.
Familiar, friendly face.
Yeah.
It doesn't hurt.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah, spotted everywhere. It's fun.
What's next for you? What's next for STEK? What's coming up that people should look forward to? Any new products that you can talk about? I know you can.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
totally.
Yeah.
On the tune of STEK, we have a couple new films that we're working on for SEMA this year. And that SEMA shows the first week in November, for those that aren't familiar. The one that I can tell about would be a British Racing Green, which I think is just awesome. It kind of goes back to these old colors coming back. But I think that's a pretty timeless color. So we're working on a few different issues. I've seen some, test samples, so to speak, of different colors. And we're kind of
I was going to say British Racing Green isn't like an actual color, so you got to pick which British Racing Green.
Put a finger on it. But I believe we're going to call that just Dyno Green. And that's the other part that I think is really cool is from an enthusiast standpoint is our green is just going to be the British Racing Green. So people know that we're car guys, which is really cool. But other than that, right now, one product that we're working on improving that's got a lot of attention the last year is our windshield film. And it makes a lot of sense because there's a lot of need for it, especially on the supply chain world that we're in right now. If you have, like a Titan, there's a multiple month wait. It's a $2,500 piece of glass, and that's expensive and a long time to wait. So there's a really strong need for it. Right now, we're kind of fine tuning that product to make it a little bit more durable as we can, easier to install wherever we can. But I think once we nail that down, that will be really big for us as well. So it's something that we have had out. I have it on my truck, for instance, and we've had really great results. In some other regions, we've had some mixed feedback, just to be completely transparent. So we're working with the engineers to make it as good as we can.
Well, that's R&D. I mean, it's not what works somewhere is not going to work everywhere.
Yeah.
So
yeah, exactly.
Well, and Gator Shield. Now you guys need to do something. You need to make Gator Shield. I don't know. I just made that up. Alligator skin.
Yeah.
Alligator skin shield.
Some extra tough.
You have some British Racing Green alligator skin. I like that.
I think all the off-road guys will
Be
like
good,
it.
good accent pieces. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a running joke that I go through more windshields than anybody, and it's like because every car I've had until this last year, road trips were my big thing, and I'd go through at least 2 a year, like just destroyed. Every car I've ever had, at least 2 within the first year.
Yeah.
The Raptor's been through 1. Thank God, only 1 so far, but I haven't driven as far this year. So
Yeah.
But I've had it a year.
It's tough. I feel like I have some family friends that's in the same boat. It doesn't matter what car they get, or they just replace the glass. Like within 3 to 6 months, they're going to get another chip, another crack. And I was talking to that friend about this windshield film. He's like, he didn't really mind. If it's going on your family car, if you will, $200 piece of glass doesn't really make sense for you. But on trucks like your Raptor, do you have a second gen?
Yeah, I have a second gen, but I went through 2 of my Porsche, and that was mine Turbo S, and that was thank insurance both times. Thank God that doesn't kill my rates because that was like, here's my $5,000 in windshield claims for the year. The Z06, another 2 windshields, my C63 windshield, my GTR. That was the worst one probably. That was like a 3-month delay. And so by the time I got a new windshield, it was like just across the car. Like, don't mind me and my ghetto GTR. Yeah. Anyway, I destroyed windshields.
Yeah. So there's a strong need for it, even on like track applications. There's a lot of uses. So that's another exciting one. The other product like series that we're pushing more so this year than we have before is window film and window tint. Or really, those are synonymous, same thing. Just like we had with the PPF, we're engineering those a little bit differently, where you get honestly just phenomenal performance. And so I've had it on my Raptor for almost a year now, and a lot of our installers are liking working with it. It shrinks really easily, or nicely, I should say. Nothing's easy in the film industry,
right,
but it shrinks nicely, and then the clarity is excellent as well. So what's cool about that in particular, we have 3 different series. The one I'll talk about is the NEX series, and that's our top of the line. Ceramic window film would be the category. But we have a patent pending for this technology in there that is this graphene additive. And you guys have probably heard of graphene. It's kind of been a buzzword in the detailing industry. But it actually serves a purpose. Come to find out, it's excellent thermal conductor. And so what that acts as essentially is a battery in the film. There's other ceramic particles, which would be like ITO, tungsten. Those are actually what's rejecting the heat. But with the addition of graphene, it's able to disperse that heat a lot more efficiently. And so, especially over like prolonged exposure and stuff, the film stays cooler, the glass stays cooler. It's dispersing the heat into the body panels around it. And so then adversely, the inside of the car is also cooler. And so really just impressive technology, honestly, knowing that's there. And we can have very, very high-end ceramic film or even a sputter multi-layer film from a competitor. And if you put the two side by side, you can feel the heat rejection, just night and day difference. So we'll be doing that demo at SEMA this year. We might bring it out to Avants if I can find out some electricity stuff. I think we have a little generator. So that is kind of just proofs in the pudding. And that's my favorite way to educate anyone about film is put their hands on it. Go see it, actually get, physical with it if you can. And that's because these things are tangible, so we get to do that. So you might as well. It's a big choice. It's a large investment most of the time. So, but yeah, that NEX series is something that we'll continue to get buzz for, I'm sure, and it's already picking up a decent amount, but we'll be pushing that more and more.
I wonder if that could be integrated into paint protection at some point, because I think of like cars in like Arizona or something where they're constantly in the heat, and you got a whole other property there to just, the more heat you can reject off a car down there, the better.
Interesting idea. We've thought about something similar in maybe the scope of like windshield film with some heat rejection. So obviously we're still working on windshield film, but that might be a further extension of that product.
Yeah, difficult when you want to keep it clear, but
Totally. So
cool.
That's cool.
So cool.
Yeah. And then up and coming for myself personally really is just getting into more stage rally and trying to get my name out there as much as I can, be recognized and try to just pick up more sponsorships. So far, like I mentioned, I've only been doing the West Coast kind of regional events, and my goal is to do a complete season where I'm traveling throughout the country, going over to Colorado and New England Forest Rally, which is in Ohio, and all sorts of stuff. A lot more involved. Obviously, you need more time off of work and money for gas and all that stuff.
I was going to say, a long way to transport a car, but really fun.
Yeah, exactly. So that's really my goal. And for me, just again being a kind of passionate person, I want to believe in what I'm doing. So that's why I love working for STEK. I believe in the products. Again, like I've said, it makes my job easy. But similar to the rally, I really want to just pursue that as far as I can. And maybe one day there'll be an STEK rally car and I'll be the driver for it or something like that. Who knows?
Maybe one day, John.
So
John.
Yeah, plug it now.
Come on, John.
Metropolitan Detail, STEK. I just talked to Fabrice from Alpenstars earlier this week. Actually, we have a show coming up with him. And so if you want a good connection with Alpenstars, he's an Avants member down in California. So we have a lot of people in the industry as Avants members. So just put it out there. Just, hey.
Yeah.
All work together. It's one big happy family. Come on.
Yeah.
Just kidding. It goes back to kind of the education. There's so much to it. Like none of us can be an expert on all things automotive, so we got to lean on each other where we can to get that information.
Hive mind.
Yep.
All right. So Metropolitan, obviously, it's actually, who are our Avants partners who are doing STEK?
Oh, I think almost all of them.
Yeah, I think. Boy, if you put it up there.
I didn't actually look, but I know that I've seen it on their sites. But Prestige.
Yeah, Prestige Auto Salon, Blue Star Auto Salon, which is up in up north, and then also Metropolitan Detail would be the east side. We have Parker's Detailing Co. coming from Tacoma, but I'm not sure if he's a Avants member or not. So,
I'll have to go check
but
him
he
out.
should be. He will be after AvantsFest, I'm sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Ever-growing family. All right. Well, cool. If anybody wants to get a hold of you, you guys are out in Woodinville. Do you guys do installs at your shop, or is it no? You're just the corporate headquarters.
Yeah, we are exclusively distribution.
Distribution. Okay. Well, if you are a detail shop, if you're listening to our show and you are up to par for installing something like STEK, you have some interest in it, and I'm sure they can get a hold of you. How would they get a hold of you for that side, the professional side of the industry?
Yeah. Easiest way, honestly, just go on our website, www.stek-usa.com.
There you go.
And so to bring up, perhaps this is appropriate time to discuss STEK versus STEK.
We got to close on that.
That website will look like stek-usa.com, but it stands for Shield Technologies.
Yeah,
and so in America, we call it as STEK. I think it sounds a little bit better, but it is totally a common misconception that it's STEK, and so it's an uphill battle, potato, if you will.
STEK,
We'll respond to both.
Porsche.
Yep.
Exactly. So call it what you will. But
I like
STEK.
STEK. I'm sticking to that. Yeah.
It's a little more professional.
Exactly.
Whatever.
It's clean.
Depends how many of these you've had.
Slur those together.
Yeah.
But yeah, just go to the website, stek-usa.com. We have a contact form there, whether you're looking for an installer. There's a map on a locator, if you will.
Perfect.
And we also have a contact form that we're get back to almost every day.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, Michael,
Sweet.
thank you for coming to join us.
Dan,
it's been good having you, man.
Yeah.
Good luck in the rally.
Thanks for coming.
If we can help, give us your progress updates as you go along. We'll follow you in rally. That'll be great.
Yep, I'm sure I'll be in touch.
We'll cheer you on from here.
Yep.
Chrissy, thanks for covering for Nick. Nick, I'm sorry you're out sick. And you'll finally, Nick will be listening to an episode he's not on. It's going to be it's gonna be weird. I'm going to edit this and be like, wait, that's not, I don't know that voice.
That's awesome.
All right. Well, for the Avants podcast, I'm Dan.
I'm Chrissy.
And don't just get there. Enjoy the drive.